Good morning. Aw, Kitty thought I was talking to her. No, I'm not, Kitty. No, I'm not talking to you. Spilled coffee on my hands this morning. Guess which one? Bet you can't tell. They both look exactly the same. Yeah, right there. Not too bad though. I will survive. I bet you guys are excited about the 4-day weekend coming up. Even though you get to stay at home for the weekend, which is super fun. Okay, let me pull this up full screen for myself. Okay, so today we're starting hypothesis testing, which is kind of the point of statistics, or at least a big part of statistics is doing hypothesis testing. Here are the to-do list for today. We're doing 7.1 notes, and then you're going to have a little bit of homework, which is 11 through 41 odds. Seems like a lot, but these problems go very fast. And then you're supposed to have a relaxing weekend, and that's on the list. So make sure you do that. That's important. Oh, coffee. All right. So a hypothesis test is a process that uses sample statistics to test a claim about a population. There are always two hypotheses to consider when discussing a statistical hypothesis. There's the null hypothesis. That's N-U-L-L hypothesis, null, meaning nothing. And its complement, which is, remember, an opposite, like in probability, is the alternative hypothesis. Kind of like saying that somebody is innocent or guilty. Either of these may be the claim. Now, you're not really understanding what I'm talking about yet. You're just writing things down, so let's make it a little simpler, a little mathy. All right, H sub O is the null hypothesis, and H sub A is the alternative hypothesis. I'm so happy I'm not with you guys for once, because I know you'd be calling them hoes and ha's, but they're actually H sub O and H sub A, and I'm not going to say ho or ha. I'm going to say H sub O and H sub A, and you're going to have to deal with it, and you can't even correct me because you're not in person, so ha. Okay, that ha doesn't count. That was just me saying the word ha. Okay, so the null hypothesis is the hypothesis with the equals statement. So it doesn't really matter which one is your claim in a hypothesis statement. All that matters is which one has the equals in it. The alternative hypothesis is the hypothesis without the equals. So for example, the null hypothesis could be equal to, it could be less than or equal to, or it could be greater than or equal to. And the alternative hypothesis could be not equal to, it could be greater than, or it could be less than. So it's really the only difference between the two is that one has an equal sign and one doesn't. As you're going through the lesson, you're trying to identify which one's the null and alternative. For H sub O, it'll say the mean is greater than or equal to. It might also say that it's at least. So if we write down the H sub O and the H sub A, in this case, I'll use mu, it's greater than or equal to, that's the H sub O, greater than or equal to, a number. And the opposite of that, the complement, is being less than a number. So if one side is greater than or equal to, the other side is less. So over here I'll put less than. I'm not going to write down all the other words that you could see besides less than, but hopefully you know what those are. On this side, for an H sub O, we could have less than or equal to. which looks like this. And the opposite of being less than or equal to is being greater than. And the final H sub O that is possible is being equal to something. So your claim could be that something is equal to something else. And by that I mean equal to a number. So you might be like, the grade point average of kids in my class is 3.1. Opposite of that is not equal to. So there's three kinds of hypothesis tests. One, two, three. Okay. Example 1, identify the null and alternative hypothesis and decide which one represents the claim. All right, so the university publicizes that the proportion, P, proportion of its students who graduate in 4 years is 82%. So H sub O, H sub A. My H sub O is that my proportion is equal to 0.82, and that right there is the claim. That's what they're claiming. They're claiming that it is equal to 0.82. So to prove them wrong, we could just find out that P is not equal to 0.82. That means that we might have to show that it is way less than 0.82 or way more than 0.82, but not close to. As we actually start doing hypothesis testing in the next 3 sections, you're going to find that you can prove that something is not equal to by doing way less or way more, but there's basically like a range around 82% that would be accepted where they'd say, it's probably right. Okay, next one, the water faucet manufacturer announces that the mean flow rate of a certain type of faucet is less than 2.5 gallons. Okay, so H sub O, H sub A. So this one says less than, so that must be the alternative, because remember the alternative is the one without an equals to. So less than 2.5, and that's the claim. So in this case, the claim is actually the alternative. And here it is, mu is greater than or equal to 2.5. Okay. So there are 2 types of errors you could make when you're hypothesis testing. One is that the null hypothesis, which is the one we're always going to be trying to prove right or wrong, it was incorrectly rejected. So there's a claim or there's a null hypothesis and you say, nope, it's false, but the reason why you would say that it's false is maybe because you got some weird data. So you got some weird data where all of a sudden it turns out that it should have been true. And the other type of error is when the null hypothesis is incorrectly accepted. So if you say, yep, it's true, but actually it wasn't true, you just had a weird sample. Okay, so I think the best way to look at this is, and probably most interesting way to look at this, is talking about marijuana testing. So let's say, let's make a quick little chart here. I'm actually going to have to make the same chart for this one and for this one. So might as well do them at the same time. Okay. Sorry, you ended up just staring at me trying to figure out what the heck I'm drawing before you can copy me. There, that's what they should look like. Okay,